Today I'll be covering how to complete the Fortnite Season 3 Week 2 challenges insanely quickly. Now this set just came out today and consists of 7 challenges. When completed, will give the player 245,000 XP. Now if you want to look over these challenges, feel free to pause the video now. Of course, credit to iFireMonkey over on Twitter for leaking these challenges and creating this phenomenal graphic as I'm when I'm making this video. Anyway, since I don't want to waste any of your time, and these challenges are quite difficult, requiring a player to use ziplines at the Authority, find Deadpool's floaties at the Yacht, and even score a goal on the soccer pitch at Pleasant Park, I will get into how to complete all of these challenges right now. And of course, if this is your first time here, you want to learn how to complete your challenges fast, get better at Fortnite quickly and improve, and also the Fortnite things, be sure to subscribe with notifications on, so you don't miss out on anything, and help me get to 30,000 subscribers. Honestly, that would help me out a ton. Alright, so the very first of these challenges is to use 8 different ziplines at the Authority. Now this challenge is incredibly easy. All it wants you to do is head over to the Authority in any game mode and then ride 8 of these different wires that surround the building. Now of course, as you can see from this incredible replay footage, considering there are so many of these ziplines around the Authority, finding 8 different ones to ride on should not be too much of a challenge. The real challenge here is figuring out how to ride them without, well, being killed by any other players. But thankfully I have you covered. What I advise you do is complete this along with many of your other challenges within the game mode Team Rumble. Now that is because it is a very casual mode where if you die, you can always respawn. This makes it a phenomenal mode for completing your challenges in, especially ones that involve getting eliminations. For this challenge in particular, since henchmen do not spawn in Team Rumble, aside from a couple of possibly enemy players, the Authority should be mostly abandoned. And because of this, riding 8 different ziplines in this situation should simply be a breeze. So nice. Now the second challenge is to search 7 chests or ammo boxes at Holly Hedges. Now this is another really easy challenge, and I know you probably don't care too much for it, so I will try and be pretty quick here. Of course, be sure to stick around, because in just a moment, we go over where to find Deadpool's floaties over at the Yacht. So once again, just land at Holly Hedges in a game mode like Team Rumble to reduce the heavy risk of there being players there. Once you've landed, just refer to this map you can see on screen where all of the chests and ammo boxes spawn over at Holly Hedges. Now keep in mind, this doesn't include all the chest and ammo box locations at Holly, cause honestly that would take me forever to make, but includes enough to complete this challenge with relative ease. Anyway, I really hope this map helps. Feel free to screenshot it or do whatever you want so you can refer to it while playing, to make finding chests over at Holly Hedges really easy. Okay, cool. So now we have the third challenge, which is to find 3 Deadpool floaties at the Yacht. So if you haven't been playing too much Fortnite this season, you may be a bit confused on why this challenge is talking about the Yacht, as well that was a spy base just last season. But it turns out this location is still around, except it is now a landmark and has changed dramatically. Now it can be found all broken down, just north of the main island. Anyway, when it comes to finding the Deadpool floaties, they simply spawn around the location, with there being 5 in total. As I speak now, you can see what these Deadpool floaties look like, along with where they are on the map in the bottom right hand corner. Hopefully this video on screen will give you a fair idea of where to look to find each of these floaties. Like always, I suggest completing this challenge in Team Rumble to minimize the risk of being killed while working on it. So when you do end up on finding these floaties, obviously you must search them, which is easily done in the same way you would search a chest. I just thought I'd mention that just to be safe. Also, don't worry about the numbers on screen. It doesn't matter in which order you search them in. I am simply numbering them because now on screen, you can see a full-size map of where you can find each of these floaties. So of course, feel free to screenshot this map or do whatever you want so you'll have it to refer to while playing. But that's all, as long as you have this map and refer to the replay footage I just showed you a moment ago. Searching through these floaties should be incredibly simple. Alright, so now we have the 4th challenge, which thankfully isn't as long, and is to score a goal over at Pleasant Park. Now I think some of you may recognize this challenge from a few of the prior seasons, as honestly it is very similar. but still stick around because I have a ton of other useful information in this video, including an overpowered strategy to both eliminate players at Lazy Lake and headshot henchmen at the Fortilla, and then where to find the forged items over at the Orchard. Anyway, as this challenge implies, you will need to head over to Pleasant Park for it, obviously in a game of Team Rumble, to minimize the risk of dying while trying to complete it. Now over at Pleasant Park, a soccer field can be found in the very middle, with a soccer ball spawning in the very center of the field. From here, all you must do is walk into the soccer ball to kick it, and hit it into either of the goals at the edges of the soccer field. And that's it. If you do that, you will complete this challenge. So perfect. Now we have the 5th challenge, which is to get 3 eliminations over at Lazy Lake. So there are 2 ways of completing this challenge. First, we have the hard way, and that is to land at Lazy Lake when it's a hot drop, trying to find a weapon early on, and hunt down players while they are still looting. Clearly there is a luck factor to this, considering you never know what weapons people will find in the early game, but because of this luck factor, regardless of your skill level, if you hot drop Lazy Lake a few times, you will inevitably get 3 eliminations. But this is kind of tricky. If you don't want to bother with that, you can always follow method 2, which is to complete this challenge in a bot-only lobby. Now honestly, I've mentioned this strategy way too many times in my recent videos, and I really don't want to sound like a broken record repeating myself, so if you want to learn how to get into bot lobbies, you can just click this iCard up here to watch a recent video I made on it. But regardless, in bot lobbies, if you land at Lazy Lake, getting eliminations should be a breeze due to the lack of, well, you know, actual players in the lobby. But either way you go, completing this challenge should not be insanely difficult, only a little tedious. Okay, so now we have the 6th challenge, which is to headshot 20 henchmen at the Fortilla. Now while this challenge may at first sound easy, there is of course the issue of running into players, making it a fair amount more difficult. But even if you don't agree, be sure to stick around for just a few more minutes, because in just a few seconds we will go over how to gather or consume 5 forge items over at the Orchard. But going back to the 6th challenge, it is sadly one of the few challenges in this set that cannot be completed in Team Rumble, because as I mentioned before, henchmen do not spawn in Team Rumble. While that fact does prove useful for the first challenge on this list, requiring you to ride ziplines at the Authority, it obviously isn't too useful for this challenge. But regardless, just like the last challenge, there are 2 things that you can do. First, you can just land at the Fortilla in a regular game, ideally when it's far from where the bus flies over, find yourself a weapon, and then go around headshotting henchmen. That is, of course, if you don't feel like skipping this challenge, and just remembering to headshot henchmen whenever you find yourself at the Fortilla in a game naturally. Or second, you could just head into a bot lobby, therefore eliminating the risk of there being opposing players overall. Then, just like the first challenge, find yourself a weapon and go about headshotting henchmen. But either way you choose, at the end of the day, this challenge isn't particularly challenging, and the only real issue is the threat of enemy players. So now the 7th and final challenge out of all of the Fortnite Season 3 Week 2 challenges is to gather or consume 5 forge items at the Orchard. And can I just quickly say, I kinda like how Fortnite is back to there being only 7 challenges in these sets. It really brings back some nostalgia to when I started out making these guides. I honestly think it's awesome. Anyway, first and foremost, to complete this challenge, you will need to know where the Orchard is, because, you know, if you don't know where the Orchard is, you can't exactly complete this challenge. Well, if you didn't know, the Orchard is simply the landmark that is located just north of Frenzy Farm. As the name suggests, at this landmark, there are plenty of trees which spawn apples. Once again, if you weren't aware, forged items is simply another term for the apples, mushrooms, and other killable items that do spawn on the ground around the map. Anyway, all you need to do is gather a few of these apples. You don't even need to consume them, and honestly that's all. If you do that, you will complete this super simple challenge. Now if you did enjoy this video and want to learn how to complete your challenges fast, get better at Fortnite quickly and improve, and also the fun things, you can start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss out on anything, and help us get to 30,000 subscribers by clicking here. And in front of the video, you can click this card right here to learn how to easily win in Fortnite. Finally, support me, you can use code STARMANGER and buy my merchandise by clicking here. But that's all I have for now, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.